you are seeing are two versions of the same man. On the left, a memory, a successful graduate, a beloved son, a hopeful husband. On the right, his reality today. Homeless, broken, a beggar on the streets of Lagos. How does a man lose everything? It wasn't a business failure. It wasn't a single tragic accident. It started with a lie hidden in the heart of the woman he loved. Hello, my dear subscribers and viewers from around the world. Welcome back to Hidden Pains. Today, we are delving into one of our most tragic and revealing stories yet. This is the decade-long saga of Kunle and Bimpe. A story that asks a haunting question. How well do you really know the person sleeping next to you? Every tragedy needs a glorious beginning. And for Kunle, his began in the ancient storied city of Ibadan. Ibadan isn't just a city, it's an empire of culture and history. And in the upscale neighborhood of Bodija, among the homes of the elite, Kunle grew up. His parents were top civil servants. His future was a straight, well-paved road to success. And right next door was Bimpe. Her family, also well-respected, were not just neighbors. They were family friends. The children attended the same elite primary and secondary schools. They sat in the same pews every Sunday at the same Baptist church on Challenge Road. It seemed like fate was scripting a perfect love story. They both gained admission to the University of Lagos to study actuarial science, a highly competitive field. And there, on that vibrant campus, their childhood friendship blossomed into a passionate romance. They were the IT couple, the ones who seemed to have it all figured out. Good looks, good grades, and a love that was the envy of everyone. For them, the world was not a challenge, it was their playground. After graduation, the next step was inevitable. The wedding was the social event of the season in Ibadan. There wasn't just one ceremony, there were three. A rich, cultural, traditional marriage, a formal court wedding, and a grand white wedding in their family church. It was a fusion of joy, and guests came from across the globe to celebrate what everyone saw as a perfect union. Their honeymoon was just as legendary. A 3-week luxury cruise through the Caribbean, visiting Aruba and Trinidad and Tobago. They were living a fantasy, but fantasies, by their very nature, have to end. The reality was, Kunle was a U.S. citizen and had to return to his job at a manufacturing firm in America. Bimpe had to wait in Nigeria for her spousal visa. This was the first real test of their young marriage. Distance, but hope was bright. Kunle hired an immigration lawyer, and in a surprisingly short 6 months, the visa was approved. Bimpe packed her life, filled with dreams of a new beginning in the United States, and joined her husband. The change in Bimpe was subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. The sweet, accommodating woman Kunle married seemed to vanish. He would come home from a long, hard day at work to an apartment that was in disarray. Unwashed dishes, unmade bed, laundry piled high. But more damaging was the emotional clutter. Bimpe became secretive with her phone, taking calls in another room and speaking in hushed tones. She grew irritable, picking fights over the smallest things. When Kunle's mother visited from Nigeria, hoping to bond with her new daughter-in-law, Bimpe was cold and disrespectful, creating a tension that made the visit unbearable. And then there were the finances. Kunle, like many young husbands, shouldered all the bills, the rent, the car payments, the groceries, and let's not forget, they still had significant debts from their extravagant wedding and honeymoon. Bimpe had enrolled in nursing classes and worked a night shift job, but she always claimed she had no money to contribute. She said her small income was sent back to her parents in Nigeria as monthly upkeep. Kunle, wanting to be a supportive husband, believed her. But then one day, everything changed. Kunle needed to make a call using her phone, stumbled upon her bank statement. What he saw stole the breath from his lungs. The account, in her name only, had a balance of over $10,000. $10,000. This from a wife who claimed she couldn't even help buy groceries. The betrayal was not just emotional, it was now financial. The trust was shattered. The distance between them became a chasm. Intimacy died. When they decided to see a gynecologist to help them conceive, Kunle was hopeful it would bring them closer, but months went by with no results. He later discovered the heartbreaking truth. Bimpe was secretly flushing her fertility medications down the toilet. She was actively sabotaging the very family he was killing himself to build. The woman he loved was a stranger, and soon he would discover she was a cheat. The bomb dropped on an unsuspecting Kunle while he was out at a club with friends, trying to momentarily forget his troubles. A close friend pulled him aside. "Kunle," he whispered, "have you noticed Femi is missing?" Femi, a name from the past, a friend from their University of Lagos days. His friend continued, his voice low and serious. "I know where he is. And he's not alone." He gave Kunle an address. Blinded by a storm of rage and heartbreak, Kunle stormed out of the club. He drove like a madman to the location. And there, in the dim light of an apartment that wasn't hers, he found them, Bimpe and Femi, together. The scene confirmed his worst nightmare. The confrontation was explosive. But what happened next was beyond anything Kunle could have imagined. As he challenged them, Bimpe, in a fit of vicious rage, didn't cry or apologize. She grabbed a bottle and smashed it directly onto Kunle's head. The injury was catastrophic. Kunle was rushed to the hospital, where he underwent an 18-hour emergency surgery to save his life. While he was in a coma, Bimpe was arrested for aggravated assault. But in a twist that would define his downfall, when Kunle woke up and the police asked if he would press charges, he said no. He still loved her. He still believed somehow he could save his wife and his marriage. It was the worst decision of his life. Forgiveness, when given to the unrepentant, is seen as weakness. Bimpe returned home worse than before. The abuse escalated. She taunted him, knowing he wouldn't fight back. And then one day, the gentle, patient Kunle finally snapped. The pressure cooker exploded. In a heated argument, he lost control and hit her. This time, the neighbors called the police, and this time, unlike Kunle, Bimpe pressed charges. Fully and completely, she saw her golden opportunity. Femi was now finalizing his divorce from his American wife, a marriage of convenience that had given him a green card. Bimpe dreamed of a life with her first love. To get it, she had to destroy her husband. Kunle was convicted of domestic violence. The perfect couple was now a court case. He was sentenced to 9 months in a state correctional facility. His life in America was over. When he was released, he was a branded man, a felon. His wife had vanished. His friends, most of whom were mutual with Bimpe, wanted nothing to do with him. He was unemployable. Every background check red flagged him. He became homeless, living on the streets with a fellow inmate named Roberts. They descended into a pit of despair, drinking, smoking, and eventually selling drugs like marijuana and fentanyl just to survive. They became everything they once despised. The final humiliating blow came when he was arrested during a drug deal. His U.S. citizenship was revoked. He was detained, processed, and put on a plane back to Nigeria, deported in disgrace. Too ashamed to return to his elite family in Bodija, Ibadan, he drifted to Lagos. He found a new home among the street urchins under the Oshodi Bridge. The university graduate was now a pickpocket. He was eventually caught by an angry mob, rescued by the police, and sentenced to 7 years in a harsh Nigerian prison. When he finally emerged, he was a ghost, emaciated and broken. He had nowhere to go but the streets, this time not as a hustler, but as a beggar. And what of Bimpe? Karma has a quiet, efficient way of settling accounts. Femi finally got his divorce, but he never married Bimpe. He told a mutual friend he couldn't trust a woman who would do that to her own husband. Bimpe, spiraling, then lost her nursing license after a patient under her care died due to her negligence. She lost her job, her car, her apartment. She became a social pariah, eventually fleeing to New York to disappear into obscurity. 2 lives filled with so much promise, completely obliterated. So, what are the profound lessons we must take from this tragedy? 1. Character over charm. A person's true nature is revealed in times of stress, not in times of ease. Look for red flags in how they handle anger, disappointment, and money. 2. Financial infidelity is a cancer. Secrecy around money is a betrayal of the one flesh principle of marriage. Be a team in everything, especially your finances. 3. Abuse is a line, not a gradient. The first time someone is physically violent towards you, the relationship must end. There are no excuses. Kunle's failure to do this was his critical error. 4. You cannot love a person into changing. Love is not a rehabilitation program. You cannot fix a broken character with unconditional love. It only enables them to break you too. 5. Your support system is your lifeline. Kunle was too proud and ashamed to go home to his family. No matter how far you fall, a true family and real friends will be your safety net. Don't be too proud to use it. This story is more than just gossip. It's a warning, a reminder that the most important decision you will ever make is who you choose to share your life with. Choose wisely. Your future depends on it. What do you think? Was there a point where Kunle could have saved himself? What would you have done differently? The conversation starts in the comments. I read every single one. If this story opened your eyes, please do 3 things for me. Like this video, so the algorithm shows it to others who need to hear this message. And secondly, please share with a friend or family member. Let's start a conversation about healthy relationships. Lastly, kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell. We are your channel for real, raw, life-changing stories. Thank you for watching. Stay aware and guard your heart.